I live in Fez El Valley, a neighborhood in the city of Fez in Morocco. My neighborhood is over 1,200 years old, and it's a very busy place. In fact, there are almost 10,000 businesses here. We've also got one of the oldest universities in the world. It opened in the year 859. Faisal Valley is surrounded by a high wall with gates. You can drive inside the main gate, but then you can only travel through the streets on foot, by bicycle, or donkey. In fact, Faisal Valley is one of the largest car-free pedestrian areas in the world. And speaking of the streets, there are over 9,000 of them. It's easy to get around my neighborhood, but be careful, the streets aren't straight. They are very long and winding, and it's easy to get lost. If you're ever in Morocco, be sure to spend some time in my neighborhood, Faisal Valley. It's a place you will never forget. When people hear the word Manhattan, many think of tall buildings, theaters, and crowded streets. My neighborhood, Inwood, is also in Manhattan, but it's very different from the rest of New York City. For example, this neighborhood has a forest. Many of its streets are hundreds of years old, and there are lots of small animals and wild birds. You can go hiking in some parts of the forest and get lost. Many buildings in this neighborhood are old, too. For example, there's a farmhouse near my home. It's over 200 years old. Today it's a museum. Inwood is about 5.4 square kilometers, 2 square miles. So it's easy to get around on foot or by bike. And unlike of the rest of New York City, Inwood is a pretty quiet place. But it's still very easy to get to the other parts of the city. You can take the subway and in 20 minutes, you're in downtown Manhattan. If you're ever in New York City, come and visit Inwood and see a part of Manhattan you didn't know existed. You'll be glad you did.